First thing that you would say when you're really high. Everything has an energy. Everything's alive. Everything has
well, you know what, though? In
Sarah's
defense, New Orleans, when I went there for the first time, it has kind of a weird vibe to it.
This isn't New Orleans, though.
Yeah?
This is way outside. I'm closer to them.
You can't use that excuse.
Yeah.
He's not going to let you get away with that excuse.
We'll get to that.
Also, there's things dead and alive everywhere. So, I mean, get over it.
Yeah, I love that. She's like, there's things that are dead and there's things that are alive. Like, that's an astute observation right there.
It is pretty vague, like Drea said. It's vague.
I think she's okay. I chalk a lot of it up to nerves. I think these people are doing their, I'm starting to look at these shows like this is your first time doing this paranormal show and you got to carry her on your back. But they're in the car. Well, I'll tell you what's going on. Let's move along. They arrive at the scene of this mist that appears, and there's cop cars. There's a tow truck. It looks like an episode of Cops. A woman. What happened was a woman was driving on a road surrounded by swamp on both sides, and her car died. But when she gets out, I'm reverting. When she get out, the mist changes into the form of a female with no mouth. Now the witness is a woman named Amy LaBeouf, and she didn't really want to talk at the scene of this. This is a very, she's assaulted by a mist. There's a paranormal team of weirdos there. There's cops everywhere. So they set up a coffee date for the next day, and Amy LaBeouf has this to say about her last night's mist experience.
So, I got out, popped the hood, and I saw a female, like, missing her mouth. And then it was just gaping open. And then she was gone.
Tell me more about the mouth.
If you remember, like, the Scream mask from that movie, like, definitely open and larger than a normal, really creepy.
Can you remember anything about what the woman was wearing?
She was wearing some little, like, hat. If you've seen, like, the bonnet, how they dress up, maybe something you'd see somebody wearing, maybe like the 30s. I don't know.
Period clothes. Yeah, one of our favorite
so
tropes of the paranormal. It ain't a ghost if it ain't wearing period clothes. And the clothes.
Is she related? Is she related to Shia LaBeouf? That's to say.
Yeah, that's probably a popular name. It sounds like it's probably a popular name.
Oh man, I'll have to get some name facts on those.
It means the beef. That's weird.
Yeah,
but it's funny. It's funny. Like, this story is actually reminding me. Yeah, there was these past two clips or whatever. They're like rife with sound bites in there.
Yeah, thing. You know what that thing needed to do? It needed
to pick up your mouth.
To pick up its mouth.
I was going to say that. I forgot to throw that.
They built it as having no mouth, and it had all the mouths evidently. But
and she was looking at it. She was looking at it, and all she could say, "Look at that mouth."
Yes, there it is. I think you even said that once. But clothes are a big deal in this because that can be used to give a time period to see if they can find the history of this female mist. So they meet with a woman named Diane, who is in charge of historical records in Morgan City. And she narrows down the real-life possibility of 3 women killed in the area at that time period where someone might be wearing those clothes. And this is when because they're meeting with someone and doing her records and all this, and I started getting flashbacks to that Blackwell ghost and those, yes, I'm going to say it, the first of tonight, a black flag. All right. I know this is a conceit. A lot of those shows where you meet the researcher and everything just lines up so perfectly. This happens so much.
Wait, what was her name? It was
Okay, Diane, that's fine. We're coming over.
It's Diane. We're going over to Diane's again.
It was
I
fine.
love going to Diane's house.
Yeah, Diane is in charge of historical records in Morgan City. Oh, great! But. So she does her research. Diane is fine. They're coming over. The first 2 women that could possibly be this sentient myth, they had both died in car accidents, but, not the third one.
And then the third one, she wasn't killed like the other 2, which were in automobile accidents. She was executed by hanging. The first lady ever in the state of Louisiana. And her name was Ada LaBeouf.
LaBeouf.
LaBeouf, yeah.
That is the same last name as Amy.
Yeah.
So maybe Amy is kin to her somewhere along the line.
Whoa, yes.
Ooh.
The same name as the witness. Wow. And this is just 15 minutes into the premiere episode. This is a great ghosting.
Wow. I mean,
I am hooked.
They're not,
They're
not holding anything back.
These guys are really good detectives and paranormal investigators, if I do say so myself.
They might be the best. The story of this woman is that her and her lover, she was married, she had her lover and some other guy row out onto a lake on a boat while her and her husband were on a different rowboat, and the guy, the friend of the lover, shoots the husband, and they stuff irons in his abdomen, and they throw him in the lake. This is very sordid, twisted tale.
Fuck.
And
I think it's really
sucks.
romantic, honestly, personally. It's
honestly,
romantic.
and that's why she was the first woman hung. And also the lake is right where they saw the mist. And the lady has the same last name. Oh, and also it seems to be the most famous murder in the area. But hey, I'll give it to them. They put that all together just like that.
Yeah. These guys, they're professionals. They know what they're doing. He was like, wait, hold on a second. They both have the same last name?
Yeah, it's crazy.
Maybe they're related to each other.
Yeah, honestly, he's like, wait, that name sounds familiar. Are you sure? Is that the same last name?
It's like he's just figuring out how relations work, how how siblings and how bloodlines work.
I mean, honestly, what's more
and then there's
baffling
the
is
whole
that
thing too.
What's baffling that this historian lives in town and she hears. I don't know how but they've put together. Hey, who am I to say this? All right, but. This is pretty regular ghost hunting fare after this. They find this, they get all the cameras and the equipment, and the psychic does her thing, and then they set up a Jacob's ladder and a smoke machine or a fog machine next to each other. So they make their own mist, essentially, in the hopes that...
Can you real quick just describe what a Jacob's ladder is for me one more time? Because I'm a little bit... rusty.
Jacob's ladder, what, Brendan? Just puts a bunch of high energy electricity into the air that ghosts are supposed to feed off of. It's like a big battery for them, right?
Yeah, it's basically like, you ever seen when they have the two wires sticking up and they have the sparks just going in, but like arcing in between the two wires?
Gotcha.
That's kind of what it looks like, but it's like, I forget how many volts you can actually send through it, but it
3
ionizes the air.
So it's like a ghost amplifier. I got you.
Well, they have so they take this and they take a smoke machine and they're making their own mist and they're thinking, I don't know, they're going to amp up their own smoke. I mean, it looks like a metal video set. For a little while, there's electricity and smoke in the air. And I don't know, they're doing this in hopes that stuff happens. But Jereme sees a face, and then they set her soul free. Happy ending. That's it. This is it for this first episode. That's essentially what this show is, right? But before we move on, there's one more clip from this episode that I think it is important to hear, because you're going to get some locals describing a great term locally that probably no one knows, and this is them describing the killer lady, Ada LaBeouf. Let's hear it.
Yep, crazy couillon. They said she killed her husband.
Do you know what a couillon is? A couillon down here is known as someone who's kind of like a fool or kind of a little crazy. She wasn't quite right in the head, you know what I mean? She's a little nuts.
Yeah, so that's your word of the day, right? Couillon. It's a Cajun slang for
How do you spell
person.
that?
I don't know, couillon. I've lived here forever. I hear it all the time, and I've never bothered. I don't think anyone that says that it can actually type.
I don't think it's probably not a real word that you can actually write down. It's just something that's only spoken. So nobody knows.
I don't want to say that word. I feel like someone's gonna smack me if I say that word. I don't even.
Probably.
It doesn't even matter where I am. I don't even know who I'm offending.
You can say it alone in the room, and you're still gonna get smacked.
Yeah,
I want
to smack myself just saying it.
Couillon?
I've been
wanting
to call you a couillon for a long time, Rob. It never made sense. So
you couillon, you.
It's ready. So this is the pilot episode. You kind of, it's very standard fare for these shows. But I want to talk about episode 3 of this program. All right, this is the Revenge of the Sith. It starts off very frantic. It is like Ghostbusters. They are all frantically in the beginning of this episode getting dressed to answer the call, and that Ben guy slides down a pole. Right? No, he didn't do that. But
I wish he would have.
So they are responding to a burglary where someone reported seeing someone in the house, but the burglar doesn't have a head, so they call in the quote-unquote team. And unfortunately, the team doesn't have a cool name. I just have to call them the team. Even Turbs has a name. Ames has a name. TV's Brendan's team has a team.
We should give them a name. Let's call them.
Let's wait till the end. Maybe we can think of something more clever when we get more information. But here they are now on their way in the middle of the night, aggravated.
Chief Grogan just called and he said that they got a call tonight from Captain Caviar. Apparently that's what people call him because he's the actual captain of a swamp tour business down here.
Wow.
He says that he found an intruder in the home. He saw somebody that he thought was the robber. The thing is, he says this was no ordinary robber. It had no head, and then it disappeared.
Yeah, Captain Caviar.
Hey,
cool,
can I give you a throwback to us talking about Mothman the last couple of years? There's Captain Catfish. She's the tour guide that takes you to the TNT bunkers.
Wait, did you say cat feces?
Catfish.
Yeah, no, this is better. This is Captain Caviar. He is a little more hot. He's a little more. He's not such a bottom feeder trying to get money from people on a tour like Captain.
Yeah, how long does it take you to work your way up the ranks to become Captain Caviar? Like that's a special captain.
He sounds like a Slick Rick kind of guy.
Fancy.
To describe what he looks like, imagine a Cristo Rapolo with like a C. Everett Koop beard. With just like that chin strap beard with no mustache, he looks just like Cristo, like disturbingly a lot like Cristo.
Nice, that's a good look.
Disturbingly or like
that is
awesomely?
a good look.
That sounds pretty good.
Like
awesome.
I almost thought that Cristo is character now, and he's playing multiple people. But Captain Caviar, he tells him that Captain Caviar tells him that he got home earlier from a movie, and man, I really wish they would have said what movie he saw. It was bugging me, and they didn't even ask. Ugh. This was early last year.
I like how that's what you latch onto, Russ. I love that.
Oh God, I was like, please ask him. Because it had to be early last year. This was in 2019, so this had to be something come out early.
Was it?
Endgame. He might have probably had Endgame, maybe Solo.
Yeah, I mean, it could have been anything.
According to the numbers, he probably went and saw Endgame. I think everybody went and saw that movie, so he probably.
I did not see that movie.
All right.
Anyway, we'll never know. But he saw, I live pretty close to him. He saw a strange figure that he thought was a burglar, so he calls the police. But then it gets a little extra weird.
This figure moved towards this door, so I came in and opened this door, and that's when the creepiest thing happened. A blue shirt was just floating with no hands, no head, no legs. So I followed it into my bedroom, and it went through a bed. And right before I got to the light switch, this shirt turned and looked at me.
A shirt, you say? Well, this is very remarkable. And this makes me think of those night crawlers, those floating pants. Yeah. And they've been looking for their lost shirt, and it's in Morgan City.
I guess so. I never really thought about those night walkers.
Sure.
Yeah, I never really thought of them as just pants. Look, I can't get those words straight. Night crawlers? What is it? I can't remember.
I think they call them night crawlers, yeah.
I like to call them those California pants.
Okay, well, because they're not crawling. That's the thing.
They're like
walking, they're not crawling.
They're weird. We need to do it. One day we will do an episode about those things, maybe.
I've been waiting
Who
for
knows?
that. I really want to.
I don't know.
But
all right, it's actually a mini-sode right now. Hold on, this is a preview. There's some walking pants in California, and they're on video.
Just so in case anybody doesn't understand what we're talking about, there's these videos of these weird things that look like.
Yeah. We're gonna do an episode. They're pants that walk around.
They're just pants, dude. They're night pants. It's fine.
Look, you guys don't investigate. Goes Brendan. Have you ever seen what this guy see? Have you ever seen a shirt just floating?
I've seen pants walking.
Oh,
and
that's awesome.
I've also seen a full body apparition of somebody without a face. I mean,
really?
And it looked like I was looking at somebody. And I mean, I'll get into that a little more if you when you talk about it.
No, please.
Oh, we can. But hold on, before we do that, do you guys want to hear more about this haunted shirt?
No. They had no faces. No. I mean, like, I actually want to hear Brendan's story, but like, I get it. Let's move on. Fine.
Let's hear the haunted shirt and then Brendan's story.
I was so scared. Then as soon as I flipped the light on, it vanished. There was nothing there.
Was it a solid figure, or
it was
more of a fitted shirt, or was it?
I would describe it as being a little bit more baggy.
Has this happened before? Have you've seen things in this house?
I haven't seen, not until tonight.
I've heard a lot of stories of people seeing torsos but I've never heard anyone describe just a floating shirt with nobody in it.
Yeah, this is a special one. This is a floating, puffy, baggy shirt. Now, Brendan, I want to hear your walking pants story.
Okay, so I was in this place.